Welcome back, everyone. I'm here today with Itzhak Beery for part 3 of our interview where we're going to be talking about his shamanic travels. And today, a little bit more about what his background and his knowledge might mean for you, how you might gain from some of his experiences. So, Itzhak, welcome back for part 3. We still have so much to discuss.
Well, thank you.
For this session, where I want to pick up is the point that we left off with, which was what does shamanism and what do these indigenous practices in general have to offer us in living in the modern world? And one of the things that you mentioned was the longing to connect, and to connect specifically with nature and with the cosmic world. You know, we sometimes talk about, well, in the background that I have, which is largely Mesoamerican curanderismo, we talk about the 4 directions as giving us a lateral connection in the horizontal plane. And then in the vertical plane, we talk about the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. And I'm sure you're very familiar with that, in giving us an orientation, but also in allowing us to reconnect on every level. So let's start with that. What does it mean? How does a person reconnect?
So it's a lot more simpler than you think. I would say take a few seeds and grow a plant, put them in the soil, water the soil, feed the soil, and see the seed grow. You can do that like I did with avocado tree, or you have other things like green pepper, red pepper, tomatoes, and take care of it. There is no better teacher than nature itself. So if you put seed, and seed is the combination of all the DNA of what this tree or plant would become, and you feed it, you nourish it, you're creating an emotional connection with that plant. That is shamanism. That's all you have to do to know, and then speak to the plant and sing to the plant and listen to what the plant tells you. There's nothing else. Truly, take seeds, put them in the ground, and be their father and mother. Make sure that they get enough light from Tata Inti, from the sun, and enough nutrition from Mother Earth, the mama, and become the strong plants that they can be, using these 2 forces, the positive ions and the negative ions, the mama and the feminine energy and the masculine energy. And then water them, listen to them, hear them singing and sing to them. That's what shamanism is. We make it too complex. The plants really don't care about the 4 directions. The plants really don't care about the upper world, lower, middle world. The plants don't care about all of that. All they want is to survive and thrive. And our role as a shaman is to look at every person like that plant. We want each person to survive and each person to thrive and to fulfill what they came here to experience, their life purpose. I think we may want to take it simpler, not making it more complex. So every tree and every plant symbolizing the connection between the heaven and the earth. The light, the sun, God send His love light to every person. The earth is providing us with everything we need. And we are the connection. Every tree, we are nature. We are connecting. So when we get that idea of acknowledgement or acknowledging, we are shamans.
Well, I can absolutely relate to what you're saying. I have a pretty extensive garden myself in my backyard where I grow all of the things that we need in my community Temascal, all of the plants that we use that go into the infusion that we put on the hot rocks. So I've got all the herbs growing there and tobacco in my backyard and doing all the things that you mentioned, the singing, the talking, the praying, all of those things take place
Yes,
around the.
and you see, a lot of people think that if they will drink wachuma or they will drink ayahuasca, they'll become shamans. Unfortunately, it's not true. It's a shortcut for lazy people who want to do everything quick. They don't want to do the work itself. And I'm not saying that ayahuasca or wachuma or yahair are not important. It's very important. But it's important if you already know what it's all about. You're not thrown into places where you don't even know how to hold space for them. So the shaman, the shaman, when they work with the plants and when they work with the uh, trago, the sugarcane rum, or aqua florida, or all of the materials, the stones, they have a special connection. They understand intimately what a red flower say and what about red white or white flower say. And so it's not just like using the technology. It's also come from your intimate connection to those plants, your intention. And of course, we know that intention is the way for us to to send energy to create healing. Yeah. So I want to also say maybe a little bit about the enlightenment thing. Like my second book was is a compilation of really known people who are doing shamanic work. And I was in that state at that time that I really want to know what makes an ordinary person a shaman. What is the switch that happened? The eureka moment. So I asked those people to write an intimate, personal account of the changes that they experienced, and they are really beautiful. And you may want to read it. It's quite inspiring in many cases. It all happened in different places, on the mountains, and sometimes in the kitchen. But there's always like something outside of them. And um, I got one of the entries is from a South American shaman who wrote that he is absolutely sorry that he cannot give me what I want, because in their cultures there is no one moment like that, because they believe that every moment is a moment of enlightenment, because every moment is a moment of change. Every moment is a moment that you can make it into a miracle. So I know that a lot of people in the West and the East are looking for a moment of enlightenment, and they will go to different exotic places. They will go to the Himalaya, they go to India to meditate 50 years, they go to all kind of different places to do sweat lodges, to do all kind of different things. I'm not saying that these are not good to do. What I'm saying is that when you hold it in your consciousness and mind, that every moment is a moment of change and enlightenment, then you start to live in the magic, in the place that everything is possible. And then you start to create what's possible. And maybe some people think that it's not possible, but it is possible. So I would say that one of the things that we always think, and that's what Ipopiara used to say, my teacher from Brazil used to say, that we are all shamans. We all have the capacity to dream, to touch, to sing, to give water, to dream, to whatever shamans do. And what we need to is to acknowledge it and to act on it and to take responsibility for it. Many people don't really want to take responsibility because they don't really want to be bothered, because becoming a shaman is very, very difficult. So the enlightenment part of the recognition is that you have to live every moment like it's the miracle of life, to be in the awe of life, and that's a beautiful way of being.
So I want to circle back to something you said a couple of moments ago. And first of all, I want to kind of honor what you had to say about ayahuasca, because it's probably traveling in similar circles to you. I hear about ayahuasca all the time. People want to talk about ayahuasca. And I see the same thing that you do, which is that it seems to hold out the promise to people for instant enlightenment, which clearly is not what it means in its original cultural context. So I'm really glad that you talked about how different that is than the common understanding of it. I want to circle back also to the phrase that you used about intention to send energy for healing, and talk about how our listeners and viewers might come to harness the power of their own intention.
So it is that was the question that I really was very intent to find out with my teachers. And Don Jose Joaquin Pineda, the shaman that I worked with, I was apprentice with. Every time that I asked, "How did you know?" or "What do you do?" he said, "Concentrate." And in the beginning, I thought that like he's pulling my leg or he's like rejecting me. But we have to understand that our mind, not just our mind, but our mind is working with electricity. So when you concentrate and you bring, and that's the way I personally do, is I take this energy and I send it to my third eye and I send it to the client. And so what we do when we are concentrating is sending electricity waves toward the client. Now the client himself is a wave, is energy. So what we are doing with our interaction of our brain is we are sending waves of energy or electricity to the places where we need change or manipulate these places, and we change them, or we dream them, or we concentrate that change. Now, it's really hard to describe the process, but I promise you that if you do that, if you empty your mind and start sending all that energy that is percolating in that box over here, and concentrating and send the intention into that person, you can change. You can heal people with your mind, and it's the same thing with your body. In your body, you can actually do that, because we have to understand that the world is all vibration, it's all energy, it's all these crazy particles, big, small, and minuscule, and all with all these crazy names that they have. that are moving in different speeds and different shapes and different vibrations, frequencies. And what this is the world. The world is not what you see. The world is a labels that we put on stuff so we can navigate it. But the world is a world of energy, or you can also call it the world of music or sound. But what with our intention or connection, we can send that interfere in issues that are no longer useful for some people. I know I do that, and I know that it works. So it's not an imaginary thing. It's not something that you dream of. Something you can actually. Um, we have an incredible machine over here, and we really need to learn how to use it.
Well, that's an excellent answer about the nature of intentionality. So the last thing that I want to look at today is talk a little bit about spiritual travel. You know, you mentioned a lot of different places that you take people along with you on your journeys. Can you give us an example of what happens and how you see people change as a result of that?
You know, is the change that happened to people, especially people who come from the the north, the western world, is quite amazing. Um, there are different levels of that. One of them is the experience with the medicine, the experience with the shaman, uh, visiting their understanding what the priorities are, and also the experiencing the different rhythm of life, which is very different than our life. Priority, how they educate their children, who do they eat. That is on that side. And then you have their own experiences. Um, the plant medicine, Olympia, all the other healing methods. And I think it's wonderful that we can take people out of their comfort zone. We take people from places all about safety and security, and we throw them into the unknown. It's very for some people it's very difficult. Some people really want to know minute by minute what's going to happen. Some people allowing the spirit to flow with nature, but that's exactly what we offer. So I take people to Brazil, to Rio Negro. I'm taking people to Ecuador, different communities, the Amazon, the Andes, and the Amazon. I took people to Mexico, to Yucatan, to work with a master shaman, Mayan shaman. And I do work in Europe and Israel and all kind of places. So you can learn shamanism in your hometown, but there's no replacement for personal experience. And I have to say that a lot of the shamanic teaching come from being with the shaman or being with the family. You learn through experiencing and imitating. That's how the shamanic work teachings goes. It's not about sitting in class and doing 1 day, 3 days, 2 weeks, 3 years, all of that. This has never really happened. You learn by example, and I personally want to really thank my teachers because I had quite a few of those, from the Inuit to the Mongolians to the people in South Africa or South America, and so I learned like that. That's my creative learning. And I personally think that there is no replacement when you do the work, and not just the boom boom boom, although the psychological shamanism. You want to be where it's at the roots of it, because sometimes you don't really know when in the healing room, when you see the shaman's work and you see the spirit who goes, and yet the smell and the touch and the leaves and the fire and all of that, it is irreplaceable. And you can't do that with shamanic drumming or shamanic journey work. It's just not possible. I truly, right now, what I decided to do is I'm not doing trips for trips. I do trips as apprenticeship to teach people how to do this work, because I think that is really important for lately. Many shamans that I know that were my teachers passed away, and with each one of them, a lot of their teaching goes away. And I was lucky to know them and to learn from them, and I want to really pass it on to other people to do. And so, really, my trip now is more about training people to do those techniques, but not just as a technical thing, but I really want them to really understand the science behind it, and the spiritual meaning of all of it, and why are we doing it? Because in shamanic healing, we don't have the luxury of doing something that might work, because we don't want people to might come back. We want people to come back, right? So every process that we are using have to show results. We have to make sure that the person is healed. We don't give pills, right? So we need to. So the shamanic healing throughout all these millennia is a test proof for techniques that works. We don't have the luxury of not. So, and of course, and each shaman takes it in a different way, of course, but or give it his own signature. But the principles need to be taught to understand the concept of why are you using aquaflorida, why are you using trago, why are you using leaves, or what is this song that you sing, and where they come from, and what's the role of stones and bells and all of that thing. So I don't know how long I'm going to be here on this earth, but I want people to know that this exists. One of the things that are also about the indigenous healers, they are great healers, but they are very bad at teaching, or teaching white people. Regular people from the north. They don't understand why we don't understand. They are really not a very good teachers. They are good teachers if you just follow them for 3 years, like I did, like sitting and just watching and watching and doing more and more and more and more, and and finally you get the idea, you get the concept of all of it. Why? But they don't really like people to ask them what they do. They just want you to do it. And so, because for them it's so obvious, for us it's not. But so we need to. I mean, it's so important because people who are born in our century don't even think that the pharma or all the medical companies that we have now, they are less than 200 years.
Mhm.
All these medications that we are taking now, it's new, it's experimental, it's actually alternative to traditional medicine. So,
That's
and
the alternative medicine.
yeah, it's quite amazing because in our mind, the world will always had aspirin, Advil, insulin, but it's not true. It's truly new. But there are plants that do the same thing
Mhm.
for thousands of years, and their benefits, you can see that the human race is here. So if we let those people from the Andes or from indigenous disappear, that wisdom will disappear. And believe me, they are running to be like us. They want to be like us, which is like frightening. But
Yes.
I understand them. They want to have iPhone. They want to have cameras. They want to have television. They want to be with us, which is like exactly what the condor and the eagle prophecy is. And it's so important for us to understand that we are now in this point where the wisdom of the South, or the wisdom of the indigenous people, is instrumental to the livelihood of the people of the North. And the wisdom of the people of the North is instrumental for the people in the South. And we have to figure out how to work it together, not destroy each other, to
And
honor it.
that is absolutely a perfect spot for us to end today, Itzhak. So, how do we do that? Well, one way is to keep doing what you're doing. So, when our listeners and our viewers want to know more about how they can connect with you, your trips, your various offerings, how can they get in touch with you?
The easiest way is to go through my website, which is my name, itzhakbeery.com, itzhakbeery.com. There's a list of all the events, articles, many interviews, all kind of different article. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff over there, and you can send me an email, and I'll definitely answer you. Maybe not the first day, but
And I'll throw a quick plug for myself as well. I don't do nearly the number of trips that Itzhak does, but I do have a group going out for Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead celebrations in Oaxaca, Mexico, coming up at the end of October. So you can find information on that at bobvetter.com. So, Itzhak Beery, thank you so much for being with us here today. And thank you, listeners, for spending a little bit of time with us today.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.